we are told that history is a straight line. We started with spears, invented bronze, built stone temples, and eventually landed on the moon. It's a clean, logical story. But what if that story is a lie? Because the dirt keeps telling a different story. Deep in the ocean, buried in deserts, and hidden in the remote caves, we keep finding artifacts that simply shouldn't exist. Ancient analog computers that baffle modern engineers, batteries created 2,000 years before their time, and massive, precision-built cities that defy the laws of the era they were built in. These aren't just myths. These are physical objects, massive structures, and the complex technologies that force us to ask the uncomfortable question: did our ancestors have knowledge we've forgotten? Or is history hiding a chapter we aren't supposed to know about? From lost languages to impossible engineering, we're looking at the evidence today. Here are 15 ancient discoveries that science still can't explain. Let's dive in. In 1901, divers exploring a shipwreck near the Greek island of Antikythera brought up a chunk of corroded bronze. For decades, it sat in a museum, looking like nothing more than an ancient lump of rock. Then, X-ray scanning revealed the truth. Inside were over 30 precision bronze gears. This was the Antikythera Mechanism, a 2,000-year-old analog computer. By turning a hand crank, ancient Greeks could calculate the motion of the sun, moon, and planets, predict solar eclipses, and track the timing of the Olympic Games with incredible accuracy. Here's the catch. Gear technology of this complexity didn't appear again in human history until 14th century European mechanical clocks. That's a 1,400-year gap. Where did this technology come from? And more importantly, how did it vanish without a trace? Number 2. Göbekli Tepe.
Before Göbekli Tepe was excavated in 1994, textbook history said human development was simple. First came agriculture, then came permanent towns, and only after people settled down did they build temples and complex monuments. Göbekli Tepe threw that entire timeline into the fire. Dated to nearly 11,500 years ago, making it 6,000 years older than Stonehenge, this massive sanctuary consists of giant T-shaped stone pillars weighing up to 20 tons, carved with detailed leopards, scorpions, and birds. The people who built this were hunter-gatherers. They had no domesticated crops, no metal tools, and no wheel. Yet they organized hundreds of workers to quarry, transport, and assemble a monumental complex. It turns out the urge to build something sacred didn't come after civilization. It might have created it.
Number 3. The Voynich Manuscript. Imagine a 240-page book written in a completely unknown alphabet, filled with illustrations of plants that don't exist anywhere on Earth, astronomical diagrams, and strange bathing rituals. This is the Voynich Manuscript. Carbon dated to the early 15th century, it has baffled the world's greatest minds for over 100 years. During World War II, elite codebreakers who cracked the German Enigma machine tried to decipher it and failed. Modern supercomputers and OWL translation algorithms have analyzed its linguistic structure and failed. Some call it an elaborate medieval hoax. Others believe it's a coded botanical or medical handbook from an isolated culture. To this day, not a single word has been translated.
Number 4. The NAZCA lines.
Etched into the high desert plateau of southern Peru are hundreds of giant figures known as the NAZCA lines. By scraping away the rust-colored topsoil to reveal the lighter clay underneath, an ancient culture created lines stretching over 190 square miles. There are geometric spirals, straight lines running for miles across mountains, and massive stylized drawings of spiders, monkeys, and hummingbirds. The mystery isn't just how they made them, though keeping straight lines over vast distances without modern tools is hard enough. The real question is why? These figures are so massive they can only be properly seen from hundreds of feet in the air. Why build artwork for an audience in the sky when you have no way to fly? Number 5. SACSAYHUAMÁN. High above the city of Cusco, Peru, stands the citadel of SACSAYHUAMÁN. The Inca constructed these outer walls using massive limestone blocks, some weighing over 120 tons. What confuses engineers today isn't just the size, it's the fit. The stones are carved with irregular, multi-angled surfaces that fit together like a giant 3D jigsaw puzzle. They fit so tightly without any mortar that you can't even slide a razor blade or a sheet of paper between them. In an area prone to massive earthquakes, this mortarless design absorbs tremors, allowing the stones to dance during an earthquake and fall right back into place. How the Inca quarried, shaped, and moved these mega blocks with zero draft animals remains an engineering enigma. Number 6. The Baghdad Battery. In 1936, near Baghdad, archaeologists unearthed an unremarkable terracotta jar about 5 inches tall. Inside was a copper sheet rolled into a cylinder, housing an iron rod held in place by asphalt. When modern scientists built exact replicas of the jar and filled them with mild acids like vinegar or grape juice, the devices generated roughly 1.1 to 2 volts of electricity. Dated to around 250 BCE, this is known as the Baghdad Battery. Was it an ancient discovery of electricity used for electroplating jewelry, relieving pain, or creating magic sparks during religious ceremonies? Or was it simply a protective container for sacred scrolls that accidentally created a battery setup? Scientists remain fiercely divided. Number 7. The LONGYOU Caves. In 1992, a farmer in Zhejiang province, China, decided to pump water out of a local pond. What he uncovered was an underwater entrance to a massive, hand-carved underground world. The LONGYOU Caves consist of 24 artificial sandstone caverns carved deep into the rock, spanning over 30,000 square meters. The ceilings, pillars, and walls are all carved with precise, uniform diagonal lines. Removing that much rock required excavating an estimated 1 million cubic meters of stone, a project that would have taken thousands of workers decades to complete. Yet, despite ancient China's meticulous record-keeping, there is zero mention of the LONGYOU Caves in any historical document. Who carved them? And where did all that displaced stone go? Number 8. The Stone Spheres of Costa Rica. Locally known as Las Bolas, over 300 perfectly smoothed stone spheres are scattered across the Diquís Delta in Costa Rica. They range in size from a few inches to over 6 feet in diameter, weighing up to 15 tons. Most are carved from granodiorite, an extremely hard igneous rock. Measurements show that many of these spheres are nearly mathematically perfect in their roundness. The indigenous populations who created them between 600 and 1500 CE left behind no written records. The quarries where the stone originated were often located miles away from where the spheres were found. How ancient artisans achieved such roundness on a massive scale using basic stone chisels is still a mystery. Number 9. The Plain of Jars. Across the Xiangquang Plateau in Laos, thousands of giant, hollowed-out stone jars sit scattered in clusters. Some stand over 10 feet tall and weigh as much as 14 tons. Dating back to between 500 BCE and 500 CE, these stone vessels were carved from sandstone, granite, and limestone. Archaeologists have found human remains nearby, leading to theories that they were used for ancient burial rituals, perhaps as distillation vessels for bodies before cremation. But how a prehistoric culture manufactured thousands of heavy stone jars and transported them up steep ridgelines without modern equipment remains completely unknown. Number 10. The MOAI and PUKAO of Easter Island. The giant stone heads of Easter Island, or MOAI, are famous around the world. We know they were carved from volcanic tuff and moved to coastal platforms. But there's a lesser-known part of the story that drives engineers crazy: the PUKAO. PUKAO are massive cylinder-shaped heads, or topknots, made of a completely different red stone quarry. They weigh up to 12 tons each. Carving a 30-foot multi-ton statue is one thing, but lifting a 12-ton red rock cylinder to the top of that statue's head on an isolated island with no trees for timber cranes? That's a whole different level of mechanical genius that researchers are still testing theories on today. Number 11. Roman dodecahedrons. Found in fields, graves, and coin hoards across northern Europe, over 100 of these mysterious objects have been unearthed. They are hollow bronze dodecahedrons, 12-sided shapes ranging from 4 to 11 centimeters in size. Each pentagonal face has a hole of a different size, and each corner has a small metal knob. Here's the strangest part. Roman writers wrote down everything. They documented military tactics, recipes, tax laws, and toilet paper alternatives. Yet not a single Roman text mentions these objects. Theories range from surveying instruments and astronomical calendars to glove knitting gauges or sacred dice. We simply don't know. Number 12. DERINKUYU Underground City. In 1963, a man in Cappadocia, Turkey, knocked down a wall in his basement while renovating his home. Behind it, he found a room, and beyond that, a massive underground tunnel system. He had rediscovered DERINKUYU, a multi-level subterranean city carved nearly 280 feet deep into the soft volcanic rock. This wasn't just a temporary bomb shelter. DERINKUYU could house up to 20,000 people alongside their livestock and food supplies. It featured sophisticated air ventilation shafts, fresh water wells, chapels, wine presses, and heavy, round stone doors that could be rolled shut from the inside to block invaders. Hand-carving an 18-story underground city without collapsing the structure required advanced knowledge of engineering and geology. Number 13. The Iron Pillar of Delhi. Standing over 23 feet tall in the Qutb complex in Delhi, India, sits a wrought iron pillar erected during the Gupta Empire around 400 CE. For over 1,600 years, this pillar has stood completely exposed to India's harsh, weather-intense heat, heavy monsoon rains, and modern pollution. Yet it has virtually no rust. Modern metallurgists discovered that ancient Indian blacksmiths used a high-phosphorus iron extraction technique that created a microscopic protective layer of misoite over the pillar. While we now understand the chemical reaction preventing rust, how ancient metallurgists engineered this specific long-term corrosion resistance centuries ahead of modern chemistry is a testament to lost ancient knowledge. Number 14. The KAIMANAWA Wall. Deep in the Kaimanawa forest of New Zealand sits a structure that has sparked decades of debate. A wall made of remarkably square, smooth, interlocking stone blocks. To alternative researchers, the uniform blocks look like clear evidence of an ancient megalithic culture that inhabited the island long before Polynesian arrival. Mainstream geologists maintain that the wall is a natural formation, a block of ignimbrite rock that cracked into neat rectangular joints as it cooled millions of years ago. However, critics point out the straight, carved-looking faces and unnatural 90-degree alignment. Whether nature or human hands built it, the Kaimanawa Wall continues to draw visitors looking for answers. Number 15. The Baltic Sea Anomaly. In June 2011, a Swedish treasure hunting team called Ocean X was scanning the bottom of the Baltic Sea using side-scan sonar when they captured a bizarre image 300 feet below the surface. It showed a circular object roughly 200 feet in diameter, featuring structures that looked like ramps, staircases, and smooth corridors. Some claimed it was a crashed UFO, others a secret Nazi radar installation from World War II. Geologists who analyzed samples retrieved from the site state it is likely a natural rock formation created by glacial melting during the Ice Age. Yet, the strange electrical interference reported by divers near the object keeps the mystery alive on the ocean floor.
From gear-driven ancient computers to massive underground cities, these 15 discoveries prove that our ancestors were far more resourceful, creative, and capable than we often give them credit for. Which of these mysteries do you think will be solved first? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into lost history, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.